All right, test. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of REDX Live Prospecting. My name is Andrew. We've got Kent Brown here with us today. Kent, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Andrew?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited. We did this for the first time in a while last week. We used to do a bunch of live prospecting. We're bringing it back. I'm super excited to have you here, Kent, because today we're going to do a few things. We're going to start by talking about appointments. We had someone last week mention that they were really curious about what you do to get on appointments, to set appointments, all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, so I think that'll be a good discussion to get going, and then we're going to do some calls. Who are you calling today, Ken?
Gonna call some expired.
Expired.
June 1st.
Okay, June 1st. Call some
Second
expired.
biggest day for
And that's interesting because a lot of people are saying that there's not a whole lot to be had for expires these days. What's your mindset behind that, Ken?
I mean, there's always older expireds. June 1st is the second biggest day for expireds. So if you're not signed up for REDX, you probably should do that today and get on the phone with expireds. January 1st is the biggest day by far.
Okay.
June 1st is the second biggest day.
Interesting. Of the whole year.
The whole year.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Well, I'm very excited. Shout out to our audience if they're we're getting some people popping in. Any of you who have questions for Ken, have comments, anything you want us to talk about, we are going to save the last 10 or 15 minutes for a Q&A for you to ask questions to Ken. So stick around to the end of the show and we'll be doing some of that. But yeah, I think unless there's anything else, Ken, if you want to just dive right in and maybe talk to us a little bit about appointment setting.
Yeah. So the whole reason why we're making phone calls is to set appointments, obviously. There's lead generation that goes along with that, as you saw last week where you're going to follow up. 70% of your conversion will come from the lead follow-up. Mm-hmm. So a majority of times you're not going to set an appointment right off the bat, first of all.
Right.
After you follow up 4 or 5 times, that's typically when I'll get an appointment and be able to move forward. But the important thing for that is they always have to have a logical next step after every single call.
Right.
If you don't have a logical next step with them, they're not a lead, throw them out, get rid of them. Because what you're going to do is the more you prospect, the more leads you're going to accumulate, and you're not going to be able to, You're not going to be able to follow up with every one of them and service them as well as you should be able to service them. Mm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And how early or how soon within this follow up, this prospecting kind of time frame do you push for the appointment? Do you push for the appointment right away? Do you wait a little longer? You mentioned waiting for the follow up, but it's all about the appointment, right?
Yeah, it's all about the appointment. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can prospect. With newer expireds, they're already getting beat up. They're getting a lot of calls. So with the newer expireds, you're going to see that right off the bat, and I'll call canceled as well. Mm-hmm. Canceled I'm a little less aggressive with because it could still be under contract with right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's just digging. But with the expireds, you'll see that I'm pretty aggressive from the get-go, just asking to meet with them, the very first question.
Right.
And closing throughout.
Right. Awesome. Well, I love that. Hey, anyone listening who has any questions or comments about appointment setting that you have for Ken, we can answer those while we're live prospecting today as well. So please put those in the chat. We'll pass them along. But Ken, let's warm up the dialer and let's get to it.
Let's do it. One thing to mention with objections is we're going to get a lot of them, right? Objections are a very good thing. I think that we look at that as an objection as a very bad thing. But if they're staying on the phone with you, they're typically interested
right.
and need your services. So they're going to ask questions just to make sure that you're the right fit for them. And so knowing those objection handlers is a good thing. Now, I've done the prospecting boot camps. I've obviously prospected a lot with others. Mm-hmm. And a big thing that I notice with every single new person that gets on the phone mm-hmm. is they all get frustrated when an objection comes up. So the better your presentation is, Obviously, on the phone, your goal is to never handle an objection. Your goal is to repeat, approve what they said, and then ask the next question on your script. And if it keeps coming up, then obviously at that point you're going to handle it.
Gotcha. So repeat, approve, and ask.
And ask the next question.
Gotcha.
Yep, on the script. So objections you're wanting to handle in person. Can you figure out why you'd want to handle it in person rather than on the phone?
I think when you're in person like that, you have a little bit more room for connection, empathy, that human aspect. Or on the phone, super easy to just hang up on someone and get out of here. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and when you're talking to someone on the phone, if they don't like what you have to say, they're not going to set the appointment with you.
Right.
If they're looking for 4%, a 4% commission, and you're saying, I'm going to charge you a standard 6% commission, well, then you just lost the appointment. They're not even going to want to meet with you. But if you get there, you go through your marketing plan, show them why you're worth the 6%, and then handle that objection, it's going to be a lot easier to move through it. Make sense?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Appointment setting, objection handling, live prospecting.
Live prospecting. Let's make it happen. Hello, can you hear me? Perfect. Hey, I'm looking to speak with Julie. Would that be you by chance?
No, that's my sister.
Oh, it's your sister. She had a home for sale a few months ago and it came off of the market. Do you know if she's still looking to sell?
No, you said the right number actually.
Oh, okay. She doesn't live in Draper on Steep Mountain Drive? Okay, I may have a number. Well, my apologies. Any real estate needs that you have at this time?
No, that's thanks.
Okay. Have a wonderful day.
Got that first call out of the way.
Got that out of the way. Woke her up.
Not too bad.
Or she just woke up, one of the two.
A call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
So one thing that you're going to notice between expireds and geo leads it's important to bring up is there's a lot more downtime when calling expireds than if you were to call geo leads. Geo leads, we have connections just continuously throughout. Expireds, we just won't have that.
Right.
Hi, you've reached Alice at 425-802-8940. I'll be happy to call you back with a new message. Thank you. Bye-bye. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Good morning, Alice. This is Kent Brown with Summit Realty. Notice that your home in Sandy expired off of the market. Would love to apply for the job of selling the home. If you are still considering, please give me a call back, 801-592-3135. Again, this is Kent Brown, 801-592-3135. Thanks, Alice, and we'll talk to you soon.
Dropping some voicemail.
Dropping some voicemails. If it's the right person, if the name matches the person on the record, I'll leave voicemails.
Nice.
It's funny, last week, I usually don't leave voicemails. The coworker that I call with, she leaves voicemails, and she set a couple of appointments off of that. She's like, okay, it's time to leave voicemails. And I set one last week calling geo leads.
Okay, nice.
This is Taylor McIntyre. It's Friday night phone.
Again, if it doesn't match on the records, I typically won't leave a voicemail.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a
Hey, good morning. I'm looking to speak with Mr. Martin. Would that be you?
You're looking for who?
Mr. Martin, or the homeowner on Lake Run Road in South Jordan.
You have a wrong number.
I apologize. Did you ever know of anybody living on that street? Or did you ever used to own it?
Never have.
Never have. Okay, I do have the wrong number. Well, I'm a local real estate agent. Any real estate needs that you might have at this time? Buying, selling, or investing?
Not interested, thanks.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you for your time today. Have a wonderful day.
Not interested.
Not interested. You slip it in every call. Obviously, you don't push, but you slip it in, and if they're not interested, you just move on, right?
Right.
Please leave your message for 8.
So it seems like you're doing some voicemails, some not voicemails. When do you decide when to leave a voicemail?
Hello?
Hi, good morning. I'm looking to speak with Mrs. Howard.
Who?
Mrs. Howard, or the homeowner on April Moon Cove in Harriman. Would that be you?
No, that was about 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago. Okay. Well, do you want to move back? They're selling it.
We just bought a house in St. George.
Hey, that's a good place to be. Well, congratulations on the
Yeah.
move. And if there's ever anything we can do for you up north, let me know.
Okay, thanks.
Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.
Not bad. Bringing a couple laughs into the call. Like,
Yeah, why not?
why not?
Keep it light. So one of the biggest reasons why,
Please leave your message for 80.
and to answer your question about leaving voicemails,
Mhm.
where I'll leave a voicemail is if when they answer, it says, "Hi, this is Antonio. Please leave a message," and it matches my record.
Mm,
If it's just a phone number, I won't leave a message. I probably should. And the cool thing about REDX is you can pre-record voicemails.
gotcha.
But I'm just trying to talk to live people.
So right at this moment, you're calling new expireds, right?
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Well,
Hi, good morning, Mrs. Casiella. This is Kent Brown with Summit Realty. How are you today? She hung up. Darn.
Hello?
Hi, good morning, Charles. Kent Brown with Summit Realty. How are you?
I'm good. How can I help you?
So I was calling about a property you had on 1000 East in Salt Lake. Saw that it had come off of the market as canceled, and was curious to see if plans changed or if you were looking for a more aggressive agent to help you sell the property.
I see. No, I still have my agent. So,
Still have your agent. Are you putting it back on the market anytime soon?
yes.
You are. Okay. And I'm assuming you're still under contract with Jack?
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, if we have any further questions, we'll reach out to Jack, but I appreciate your time today, Charles.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So with cancels, that was a canceled. You want to be a little more careful
Mm,
because they can sign a withdrawal form, but they still could be under contract.
right. Well, all good stuff to know. All good stuff to
All
hear
good things.
examples of.
I mean, there's differences, honestly,
Right.
in each state. So I shouldn't speak for everybody, but that's how it is here in Utah.
hello?
Hi, good morning. I'm looking to speak with Joanne.
She's not here right now.
Oh, she's not. By chance, are you the homeowner on Sago Lily Drive in Sandy?
What do you want to know that for?
So it canceled off of the market, and I was curious to see if plans had changed or if you were looking for a more aggressive agent to help you sell the property.
No, we've sold the property.
It did end up selling. Okay. Well, congratulations. Is there any other real estate needs you might have at this time? Buying, selling, or investing? Hello, are you there? Okay, fair enough.
Moving along.
I think she said bye. I don't think she hung up.
Please leave your message for 9.
So one thing to note, Andrew, is this is not like super fun. And I think we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
But one of the things that makes successful people successful is they can work with the monotonous boredom of it all. Hello?
Please leave your message for 80.
Well, I think that's the classic mindset of anyone who wants to overcome and succeed, right? Is you gotta get through times that are less fun. You gotta go
Please
through the
leave your
grind.
message for
But if you're talking about 2 to
801.
3 hours of prospecting a day, 4 or 5 days a week, compared to
Hello,
Hello, good morning. I'm looking to speak with Mrs. Wall.
this is her. Can I help you?
Yes, Mrs. Wall. This is Kent Brown with Summit Realty. I was calling about the home on Camille Street in Holiday that you had for sale.
We don't have it for sale. It's off the market.
I saw that. Did plans just change, or were you looking for a more aggressive agent to
Yes,
interview?
we have decided not to sell.
Okay. Had the home sold, where were you headed
Plans
to?
have changed. Pardon?
Had the home sold, where were you folks headed to?
Well, I don't really think that's any of your business. But
You're right.
Thank you very much for the call.
You're right, it's
Bye-bye.
none of my business. Would you still be open to selling if you receive the right price? You there, Mrs. Wall? Hello?
she was not having it.
She wasn't having it. That's all right. You're going to get that a lot. Oh, that's none of your business. You know, you're right. It's none of my business. Shouldn't have even asked.
But I really like how you didn't let that, use that as a reason to give up.
Yeah.
You were polite. You said, you're right. It isn't any of my business, but let's keep having a polite conversation. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. And when you know they're going to hang up, you just give your last ditch effort, right?
Right.
Doesn't hurt.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. I'm looking to speak with Leslie.
She is not in. This is her daughter. Can I take a
Oh, it's her daughter. Well, so I was calling about the home on Sunup Way in South Jordan. I saw that it was on the market, had come off. Was curious to see if plans had changed or if you were interviewing agents for the job of selling the home.
We already have a realtor assigned.
Okay. Did you stick with Amy?
We are. She sold a couple of my houses, a couple of my sisters and my brothers, and then my parents had like 4 or 5 different properties. So we're sticking with Amy. I believe that my mom and dad have got the open house this Saturday.
Oh, they do. Fantastic. I know in March they were asking for 502. What are they asking this go around? Are they keeping it at 502?
You know what? I do not know.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, thank you for having a conversation with me. Are you looking to buy any properties? I know you use Amy to sell, but if we were to come across a good
I
deal.
was going to say, I know that I have just bought a townhouse Oh, it's been a little over a year, so we are not ready to sell yet because of the fees. Because we haven't owned it for 2 years, but I know I'm looking to sell it also.
Looking to sell it. Would you roll it into another property, or just looking to get out of the rental game completely?
Actually, my sweetheart and I, he's going to sell his home that's in Daybreak, and I'm going to sell my townhouse. And we're looking to buy a property, but again, we will go with Amy.
I get it. No, I get it. I'm more curious than anything because I have clients that want townhomes. I have quite a few. And so that's why I was curious to see if you would 1031 it into a property, but it sounds like you live in it. Have you spoken with a lender to see what your options are about selling it now?
Again, we'll just reach out to Amy. I don't believe that I'm to that point right now, but again, appreciate your call, and I'll let my parents know that you called.
Hey, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Good conversation. That's why you follow up with your COI or your past clients, I guess. Past clients are a little gold mine.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. I'm looking to speak with Jennifer.
Yeah, this is her daughter. Is this about the house?
It is. Yeah. Is she still selling?
No, she is not. I'm sorry.
No, not a problem. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks. Bye now. She sounded very young.
She did. Kid,
Not 18, so
not gonna talk.
I make that judgment call.
It's a good one.
Calling home with us. Unfortunately, no one.
I saw a comment pop up. I didn't get to read it though. I think I saw a comment pop up.
Yeah, I put it from our good buddy Rocky Dole.
Ah, Rocky.
It may seem weird, but
Hey,
when you
this
pro-
is Kira person. Give me a call back. Thanks.
Okay, pop that up again.
so it may seem weird, but when you prospect consistently, you start looking forward to unfriendly ones because it breaks up the routine.
Yeah, I agreed. We had that conversation last week, right? Where we call and then we have all these friendly conversations, and that unfriendly person, we're just like, oh, totally ruins your day. But it is fun because they're already mad, so it's kind of a challenge to see if you can make them unmad.
Right.
Make them happy with you again. So one thing that is important that my coach taught me when I first got into coaching, first got into real estate, that I've held on to is in the beginning, you're learning what to say. So it's important to follow a script and have a script.
Mm.
Then you learn who to be when you're saying it. So truthfully, you're going to have a different personality. Hello?
Hi, this is Shelly. Leave me a message.
So then you learn who to be when you're saying it. So if you had a script, let's use who's an actor that you love?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. So Matthew McConaughey is a lot in a bunch of movies, or the same in a lot of movies, but he can also switch himself. Have you ever watched a live interview with him versus what's that Dallas movie where he lost like 200 pounds?
Yeah, Dallas Buyers Club.
Dallas Buyers Club.
Right.
So it's kind of a similar thing. Think of a script as something, a guideline for what you're going to say, and then you can throw in your personality. If it's great, if it sucks though, you should probably switch that up a little.
Please leave your message for.
Well, I've heard you talk about that before, Kent, where you're matching tone, right? And in a way that is acting, right? You're still your authentic self, but you try to adjust to make them more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, and tone's huge.
Right.
You don't want to. You always have to watch your tonality. If you have a crappy tonality, like people can feel that. When you get a harsh objection, best thing to do is smile and nod.
Right.
And then again, agree with them. Don't get defensive. I've prospected with people that get really defensive.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And it ruins it for everybody else because the next call that they have, they're just like,
You've reached the voicemail for Don Bailey. Please leave me a message and I'll call you back. Thank you.
"Hey, Don, Kent Brown over at Summit Realty. I was calling about a home you had for sale in Sandy. Curious to see if you're still accepting offers. If you are, please give me a call back, 801-592-3135. Thanks, Don, and we'll talk to you soon." Don is going to call me back. He just texted me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How often does that happen where you call someone and then they say, I'll text you back in a minute?
Pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting a lot more canceled picking up than expired.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
I love canceled though. I feel like there's not a lot of people that go after them.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message.
So Andrew, have you ever heard someone talk about an objection and a condition?
I think I've heard you talk about those before, the difference between an objection and a condition.
Yeah, so an
Your
objection
call has been forwarded to an automatic.
is simply a question that a seller has that remains unanswered.
Mm-hmm.
And then a condition is a statement of fact that we can do nothing about. Absolutely nothing. So we're going to get a lot of objections, but we're also going to get a lot of conditional facts. So, we were going to sell our house, but my husband lost his job, which didn't allow us to move. There's nothing we can do about, unless we want to hire the guy so he can buy a house. But typically there's nothing we can do about the husband losing the job. So that would be a condition. And then you just kind of hang up, hello,
Please leave your message for 8.
politely move on. Were we going to talk about appointments a little later?
Yeah, let's do that a little bit later. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm trying to fix a couple audio things right now.
Nope, you're
You
good.
sound good, so keep track.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice.
Rocky's, where is Rocky? Yeah, he's in Arizona.
I believe so.
It's not a fun place to be right now. June.
Rocky, give us a shout out. That should be all that.
Hi, you've reached Andrea. Leave me a message.
You've reached J.D. McLeod. I'm unable to get to my...
Please leave your message for 8018.
All it takes is one. Right?
An emergency help phone located at
Elevator emergency at
Hey, sorry we missed you. Leave a message.
You know what we need in here, Andrew?
What do we need?
We need
Hello, you've reached my voicemail. I can't come to the
we need some music.
Do you listen to music in the middle of prospecting?
Oh yeah.
Get you pumped up?
Yeah. I love music while I prospect. I have this ugly, massive trucker headset.
Boyle going. Sorry I missed your phone call. I'll call you back as soon as I can.
Rocky got
At the
back.
tone, please
Arizona,
record your
indeed.
message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up
Yeah.
or press 1 for more options.
Hey, loyal Kent Brown over at Summit Realty. I was calling about a house you had for sale on 725 East in Vineyard. Looks like you decided to rent it. Was curious to see if you would still accept offers on the property. If you would, give me a call back, 801-592-3135. Thanks, loyal, and we'll talk to you soon. But I have this ugly trucker headset that I prospect with, so I can listen to music, watch TV,
Very nice.
watch sports shows mostly.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me any better?
Yes, can I help you?
Yes, is this Joan by chance?
No.
It isn't. Okay. Did you ever by chance used to live on 3145 West in West Valley?
No, that's not my place.
That's not your place. Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking my call. Sounds like I caught you in the middle of something. Any chance that you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in the near future?
No,
No? Okay.
not right now. Or future.
Well, no, I appreciate your time today, ma'am. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Heard back from Rocky. He is in fact from Arizona, and he's agreeing you with the conditions there. Just have to be careful. It's not an objection in disguise. How often you run
Forwarded to an automatic voice message.
Yeah, I think it's just asking more questions for sure. There are objections in disguise. Most of them are brush offs, though. They're going to give you a brush off rather than a condition,
Sure.
if that makes sense. So brush offs are just they're the prospect script,
Right.
and they come built in. Oh, we're not interested anymore. Like that wouldn't be a condition. That would be a brush off. Okay, I totally understand you're not interested. Again, ask the next question. Had the home sold? Where were you headed to? Then they'll give you their sob story.
Right.
But usually how I do it is, if the perfect offer did come along and you got everything you needed in the time you needed, would you still sell? And if they tell me no there, then I'll usually move on. But if they answer positively to that,
Yeah. So, okay.
Call has been forwarded
I'm
to
curious
an
how
automatic voice message.
Rocky would answer that. Rocky, if you're listening, what were you going to say? Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to say, it seems like compared to last week when you were doing geo leads, today it seems like not as many solid contacts or leads, or how are you comparing this to last week with the geo leads?
Yeah, I think that So expireds and canceled are going to get more calls.
Okay.
Obviously, they've gotten the same spiel over and over and over again. So they're going to be a little more hesitant. You're going to have less conversations, but it's a higher conversion rate. So I know that I have to have 45 conversations to get an appointment with a geo lead. Typically, I have to have 12 conversations or 12 contacts before I'll get an appointment with an expired.
Interesting.
The problem is just getting expireds to answer, right? So they're higher converting when you get them on the phone and they're the right person. But it's just harder to get hold of. Hello?
Well, that makes sense, and I think that's important for agents to hear. Is that
Your call has been
when you
forwarded to an
succeed with
automated
expireds, you're more likely to convert. Whereas, yeah, it's okay if you have a few less conversations in a prospecting session compared to circle prospecting, or what would you even say for sell by owners?
Yeah, for sell by owners, kind of the same thing. For sell by owners and expired are your low hanging fruit, which is why you want to continue to call them, because you're going to have less contacts. Geo leads is kind of a filler lead to get you through your contacts, to have good conversations. I like to play the 100 contact game, and I can't remember who. I think it was Steve Powers through Mike Ferry organization.
Okay.
Taught us that one time, where it's almost impossible to talk to 100 people and not get an appointment.
Right.
And I've never done that, where I've talked to 100 people and not gone on an appointment.
Well, that's good to hear. That's really comforting, especially with geo leads. And you're going to say that's about true for geo leads, expireds, for sell by owners, 100 people. You'll likely land an appointment.
Yep.
Cool.
This is Gene.
Hi, good morning, Gene. This is Kent Brown over at Summit Realty. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. I was calling about a home you had for sale in Mount Pleasant a little while back. Saw that it had come off of the market. Was curious to see when you'll be interviewing the right agent for the job of selling the home.
I don't know that it ever was officially on the market. We talked about selling it, but we never officially put it on the market.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, and I saw that it came on the MLS, and it looks like it came off the same day. Any interest in still exploring selling?
We're kind of still debating on that right now.
Okay. What would, if the home does sell, what are you guys debating moving for?
To be closer to family.
Be closer to family?
So
Okay.
we're still not decided whether we're going to do that or just stay where we are.
I get that. What part of, would you stay here in Utah then? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I've got family up in Utah County.
Okay. Love Utah County. Well, it sounds like you haven't made up your mind yet. And the market's crazy. I actually work more in Utah County. What kind of home specifically would you be looking for, just so I can keep it on my radar in case we find a good deal?
At least 4 bedrooms, but 5 would be ideal. But we also wanted a little property, which is not easy to find up there. So
Not at all. Do you have a budget that you'd want to stick within?
well, we were hoping prices keep going up, but we had hoped to keep it in the upper 300 to 400,000.
Okay, so upper 300 to 400.
We were pre-approved for up to 500, but we didn't want to go that high.
Okay. And was that when you were selling in August of last year that you were pre-approved for that?
Yes.
Okay. Home prices have gone up.
Do it all again, probably.
Yeah. Well, home prices have gone up quite significantly over the they've gone up 17% so far this year. So I'm assuming that you'll get quite a bit more for your property. And you're looking to be in Utah County. Would that be South Utah County or North Utah County?
Probably Orem South.
Orem South, okay. So you wouldn't have a problem with like Payson?
In Payson?
Would you have a problem with
Probably
Payson,
not.
Santaquin, Mona?
No, we kind of have been looking in Spanish Fork, but and Orem, because that's where I grew up, was in Orem.
Oh, very cool. My wife's from Orem. It's a good spot. It's a
It
good
is.
spot. And you have an acre in Mount Pleasant. Are you looking to stick close to an acre, or would you be okay downsizing
No,
a
not
little bit?
necessarily. We've looked at like a couple of them. We like to have about a quarter acre, and we're okay with that. As it gets smaller and you don't have a yard and you can't do a garden or anything that I don't like.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, tell you what, I think it would be important, obviously, for you to know what your home would sell for in this market. I don't work too much in Mount Pleasant, like I said, but I do have a great agent there. I'd love to refer over to you just so they can let you know what your home would be worth and an expert in that market. And then I know that we have a listing coming up in West Mountain over on the west side of Spanish Fork. That usually comes with a little bit more land. You're a little further away from everybody, but still close to Spanish Fork. So I would love to connect with you and see if we can't figure something out. Would that be all right?
Probably at first I need to talk to my husband and see where we're at, and
Absolutely.
I could get back with you.
I love it. Well, I think it's important that you know what your home is worth. So I'll refer you over to the agent that I have over there.
Okay.
And that way you guys can make some educated decisions on what you want to do. Fair enough?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. And you said your name was Jean, right?
Jeannie.
Jeannie. Okay, Jeannie. Well, it's very nice to meet you again. My name's Kent Brown. I'm with Summit Realty over in Orem, actually. So I look forward to continuing our conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jeannie. Bye.
Bye.
There it is.
There it is.
Great call.
Never fails. I'm at 10 contacts.
10 contacts, and you're not calling that one quite an appointment, right?
No, but I'll refer them out.
Okay.
And I mean, they were selling it for $270 in Fairview, and prices in Mount Pleasant, and prices over there have gone crazy as well. So they're probably going to get a lot more.
Mm.
And it's on 2,500 square feet on over an acre of land.
Beautiful.
It will sell in no time.
I love it. Hey, we got Richard asking, Ken, do you have a higher conversion rate calling old expireds and canceled withdrawn versus new expireds and canceled withdrawn?
No. So this one was April 30th is when it expired off of the market. Again, it never actually went on, which is kind of crazy. So I would say new expireds I'm a little bit better with. I would consider this one a new expired, less than or newer than 3 months old. I'm trying to think. I've actually never tracked that, but mentally I'm thinking that no, I get a better conversion with old expireds. Okay. I'm going to make some notes. What other questions do we have while I'm making notes? What feedback do you have for me?
Well, Rocky popped up here and said a good example of when a condition is actually an objection is when they give you something like won't sell for less than X amount. However, they're highly motivated to move closer to family. If you remind them the prices will be reflected when they purchase their next home, it'll get them closer to their family sooner or sometime. Kind of just some good objection handling tips from Rocky here.
They end up sucking it up and selling if you don't ask.
If you don't ask questions and remind them their motivation, then and it got cut off there, but.
Mount Pleasant.
And this is a tip from Rocky. He said, start with new, then go to old. There are usually not that many new ones. What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
Agreed, 100%. I just load. So like today, I loaded every single expired and canceled that I have in my Vortex account, and my dialer's just going through them. I don't think about it too much, honestly. I just want to talk to people. But there's definitely different scripts for old expireds than there is new expireds.
Right.
But guys, as you can see, it's just doing the work. When you do the work, things happen.
Yeah. Well, and I love that mindset of I don't think about it too much. I just get the calls in. I
Yeah.
just make the calls. Yep.
That's your only job, is to make calls. And truthfully, your objective should be the same on every single phone call.
Right.
Either asking for business or asking for, it's really asking for an appointment. But if it's the wrong person, ask for business. Don't waste a person on the phone.
Right.
An adult. Unless they're a child, or they sound like a child. Then I wouldn't go too deep into that. But to Rocky's point, one thing that you always have to look at, and this is really what he's saying, is objections, you handle them logically, and then you close them emotionally.
I like that. I'm going to put that on screen. Handle objections logically.
And close them on the emotion, which is why you're asking questions. Everybody looks at scripts as a bad thing. It's no secret that I do Mike Ferry. A lot of his scripts are question-based, with the exception of the introduction. Right? The introduction might be a little long-winded. If you want to change the introduction, change the introduction.
Sure.
But you're supposed to ask those questions so that, again, you can handle their objections logically and close them emotionally. The close is what's important. And if you don't have answers of where they're moving, why they're moving, then it's going to be hard. I probably should have done a better job of, hey, I'm excited to work with you, get you closer to family, and hit that hot button. So that's one thing I'm going to kick myself over.
Well, hey, that's lessons learned, right?
Lessons learned.
Something you can improve on for future calls. I love it.
Exactly. So we have like 13 minutes. I'm finishing up making notes.
Okay.
Do you want to?
Yeah, let's start to wind down. Let's put a hold on the calls here. We will get any last questions, comments, or feedback for Kent here. Let's get that typed in. Let's see. Rocky says, the good thing, there are not that many objections, so if you're going to prospect, then you should learn the answers.
Agreed.
Right? To Rocky's point there, kind of a common set of objections that you're going to get on almost every call, at least one of them. So
Yeah.
Great feedback there, Rocky.
So the funny thing to that point, Rocky, is you're a professional salesperson. So sellers have their own script that they're using. They're typically 3 or 4 deep.
Right.
And as a professional salesperson, you can't get that 3 or 4 deep to blow past them to get the appointment. Because as soon as you get past those couple of objections, they start opening up and will give you the answers. And one of the best things, if they're, pardon my language, if they're a pain in the ass on the phone, you're going to be a pain in the ass as a customer.
Right.
And so you should probably not, I personally don't like working with those type of people. I like to push them to see if I can get the appointment, but 9 times out of 10 during the pre-qual, we cancel the appointment. You guys want to know how that sounds? It's a great feeling. So you go through your pre-qualification questions. They don't want to answer. That's none of your business, just like that lady said. And, Andrew, you're right. A lot of this isn't my business, but at some point I'm going to need to know these answers to best help you.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like you trust me enough to give me those answers. And I think you should work with someone that you trust.
Sure. So
let's go ahead and cancel our appointment for now. And then if you feel like we should work together later on, please give me a call. Just feels good.
You take off the pressure for now, especially if they're not too happy with you.
And it's calling them out without specifically calling them out like, hey.
And kind of giving them the power, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can still follow up later. You can still reach back out whenever you're ready.
Yep.
I love it. Rocky said, most agents don't see themselves as a professional salesperson. And that's part of the problem that they have. Would you agree with that, Ken?
100%. Most people don't know how to do sales. That's why a majority of agents fail. So great comment, Rocky.
Yeah.
And do we not have nobody else is watching? What the heck? Where is everybody?
Yeah, where is everybody? Oh, it's the day after Memorial Day. They're probably sleeping in.
They're snoozing. They're missing out.
Calling in sick to work.
That's awesome. So what other questions? Are there any other questions? I think we're going to talk about appointments.
No other questions coming in right now, Kent, but yeah, let's get back to what we kind of opened with, which is appointment setting, right? The goal is the appointment. Maybe some different strategies or scripts or your mindset that helps you get to that.
Yep. So the goal is appointments. Really, the thing to do is just ask for the appointment.
How soon? How early? Let's role play.
I mean, you can ask for it as soon as you want. So if
Right.
you're calling a new expired, let's say it's 9:00 in the morning, we get a new expired, they're on the phone, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Andrew, Kent Brown over at Summit Realty. How are you?
Good.
Good. Calling to see if you're available to meet today at 5.
Why are you calling?
Yeah, so your home expired off of the market. I'm sure you figured that out by now.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be available to interview me at 5, or would 4:00 be better?
I'm sorry. Who are you and why are you calling?
So again, I'm Kent Brown. I apologize. Probably spoke a little fast. Kent Brown. I'm with Summit Realty, a local realtor in the area, and I'm calling to apply for the job of selling your home. Are you available this afternoon?
You're really just pushing for it there.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Did that throw you off a little bit?
It
though?
definitely threw me off. I was like, what?
Because you're like, oh, why the heck is this person calling me to meet with me?
Right.
But try that, and I promise you it'll work.
Right. Because I think if you take too long on the beginning of that call, then they're going to lose interest. They're going to hang up on you. They're going to,
Yep.
find a reason not to want to interact with you. So.
Exactly. Well, and here's one thing. This is going on the appointment, and this is setting the appointment. Your
Right.
brain has two ways to respond to salespeople: cold cognition and hot cognition. I don't know who this is. Probably call me back. So, cold cognition is your non-emotional side, and that's where you lose sales. Of hey, we have to think about it. Has someone ever sold you on emotion, Andrew?
Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel when you're sold on emotion?
At first, I feel like I've done the right thing, and then afterward, I kind of think back and almost regret it sometimes.
Okay. Well, if they're pushy, you're going to regret it.
Right.
But if you're like, dang, I can see myself in this car,
Sure.
camping, doing all these fun, because you're an outdoors guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's your hot cognition of like, my emotional side, I want this. It's a risky decision, but it has a high reward.
Right.
Possibly.
I'm gonna have fun. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
new step forward in my life. It's gonna
It's your social cognition, and we all want to be accepted socially.
Right.
Well, your cold cognition, has someone ever sold you, and like you've gone in, you're ready to buy the product, and then they start talking numbers to you, and then you don't buy that product? Has that ever happened?
Yeah,
I need to
definitely.
think about it.
Yep.
Because they put you in cold cognition. So that's why enthusiasm and tonality is important, because you want to keep them in that hot cognition of like, man, you're right. We were selling because we wanted to move to Mount Pleasant, to be in the mountains, to be surrounded by wilderness. I'm so sick and tired of the hustle and bustle of the city. Yeah, I do want to talk to you. Let's get back to that. So that's the emotional side.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I think that's important for people to hear to rather than just going through the grind, making the calls for the sake of making the calls, having some of that intention and having some of that almost sales psychology behind it, I think goes a long way.
Oh, it goes a long way.
It probably helps you as a salesperson not take things quite so personally, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it really does. So one thing that I learned from a coach that I had was she would take her sign, her lockbox. She would knock on the door. Hey, I'm really excited about getting your guys' home on the market, getting you guys over to wherever they're going, getting you guys to St. George, getting you in that warmer weather. I brought my lockbox, my sign, so we can get to work immediately. Let's go inside and talk about what we're going to do to get your home sold and get you guys to St. George.
Right.
So the entire time she just kept him in hot cognition, and 9 times out of 10, she would get the contract signed.
Nice.
Because that's where people buy. They buy emotionally.
Interesting.
So,
well, I love that, Ken. I think that's a really great tip and trick there, right? To kind of understand the psychology behind prospecting, the psychology behind sales, and to be very intentional on every call with how you're leading that conversation and how you're leading either the emotions or the logic behind it. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well,
And sound nice. Sound like you want people
Yes.
to come. You have dogs, right?
yeah, I have dogs.
Okay, I do this to my dog all the time. I'll say something really nice to my dog in a mean voice. Have you ever done that?
I do the opposite. I say something mean to my dog in a really nice voice.
Yeah, and how do
And
they react?
They love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about tonality, guys.
Yeah.
All about tonality.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful. Well, Kent, yet again, thank you so much for joining us. We haven't had any more questions. We got a couple more comments from Rocky here. Rocky, thank you for watching, man. It's good to see and hear from you again. Sylvie, you as well.
man, should we get Rocky on the show and just prospect together?
Yeah. A couple,
Brainstorm.
couple of bald dudes. Just rock,
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if Rocky's bald.
It looked like he had some nice hair.
He has some nice hair. Yeah, he looks kind of like you.
Rocky, if you shave your head, Andrew's gonna shave his head next
Yeah.
week, right?
Yeah, bald dude calls.
Bald dude calls. Yeah,
That'll be good.
we'll just make it a thing.
Yep, you bet. Well, like I said, Rocky, good to hear from you, man. Give us another shout out. And so we are trying to do this live prospecting show once a week. So join in again next Tuesday. We're going to be back at it. And join us this Thursday for the REDX podcast. That's at 12:30. Rocky says, let me know. We will, Rocky. Thank you.
Let's do it.
The REDX podcast every Thursday, 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern, on our YouTube, on our website. Go check it out. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube or Facebook already, do that to get notifications and updates. Kent, once again, thank you so much for making these calls. We'll mix it up next week again, maybe with some for sale by owners or something.
Yeah.
Just kind of move through the lead types, maybe some for rent by owners.
Maybe with Rocky. Rocky, you on for next week? Probably I shouldn't hijack that, but
No, that's all right.
we could do a little trio. It'd be
Let's see what
good.
he says. We have his contact info. We'll put him in touch
Sweet.
with you, Ken.
Let's do it.
We'll see what we can do. So, once again, everybody, thank you for joining us. We will hopefully be back here doing this again next week. And until then, get on the phones, make some calls, practice, because that's what it's all about.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Till next week.
We'll see you later.